Welcome to the Imagine Crafts channel. Annie Collins here with a Happy Mother's Day card. Let's go with the products I used to create this card. I used fireworks sprayed in dandelion, bamboo leaves, cottage ivy, and rosebud. And these come in two sizes. I used the irResistible spray, which is a texture spray, in gold, VersaMark Ink, and Mboss powder in gold. I brought in a Darice embossing folder in brick, and I embossed my 110-pound cardstock. I did that off screen to save us some time. I have a 110-pound card base that we'll be using. I cut this panel down about a quarter of an inch, and I have an extra piece of the 110-pound for our sentiment. As part of our sentiment, I die cut the word happy and a butterfly out of gold foil cardstock. And I have a sentiment here that reads Happy Mother's Day, but I'm going to use a little post-it here to mask off, so all we'll be stamping would be Mother's Day. I have these dies here, and they're from the Greetery. They were gifted to me from my sister, so they're not in the original packaging. Okay, so I'm going to move everything out of our way so we can get started. Before I do, I make sure I shake all of my fireworks spray, because all the beautiful pigment or in mica powders stay on the bottom, and then you won't get all the beautiful shimmer that these fireworks sprays have. We'll be spraying these on Canson watercolor paper. So I have pieces of that. Now I'm going to show you how I did this with the green, and I repeat this process with the dandelion and with the rosebud. First I spray the bamboo leaves, and then I spray the cottage ivy. This is the only one I do two tones on because this will be our leaves. And you can see all this beautiful shine and shimmer, and that's why you want to give them a nice good shake. Now I heat set from front and back so it minimizes some of the warping. I'm going to bring in my dies, and I'll be placing them. I'll be die cutting 2 pink tulips and 1 yellow tulip, and then all of our leaves and stems from the green. So I did that off screen just to save us some time. I'll be bringing my on point glue to adhere all of our flowers and leaves and stems together. I just put a little bit here, and then I add our center. Oh, and the center for this was cut out of the dandelion card. And then I'm going to go ahead and put together my tulips. Now one is an open full bloom tulip, and the other one is semi-open right here. And the yellow one is also like a semi-open tulip. And here's the stem. Just put a little bit of on point glue. Now on point glue takes a moment to dry, and I'm being very impatient here. Watch, I keep shifting everything, and I keep moving my leaves, and everything comes apart. But as you can see here in a moment, I'm just going to put it all back, and then I'll put an acrylic block on top of it, and it'll set after that. It just takes about a minute or so to set. Once I put my acrylic block on it, it all works out. Now I'm a bit off screen here, and I apologize. And I'm just doing the the yellow or the dandelion colored tulip off screen here. I'm putting it together the same way I did the pink, except I'm going to add a little bit of foam adhesive, not a foam tab there, just so that that one piece pops up, just to give a little dimension. Okay, get any excess glue off my table. And now we're going to adhere our brick panel, the card front panel, to our card base. I'm going to use some tear tape to do this. I'm going to put some in the center and on all 4 sides. I remove the backing to release the adhesive here. And then I'll center this on our card base. Keep in mind this is going to be tone on tone white, so it's a little difficult to see, but I just left about a quarter of an inch all the way around to create a nice frame here. So I'm going to create a cluster down on my bottom left hand corner and my sentiment on my upper right. So I'm going to, before I start adhering my flowers, I'm going to bring in my irResistible texture spray. Now this is a spray, you spray it, but I'm going to pull out my nozzle, and I'm just going to do little textured splatters. I'm sorry about that. Little textured splatters. And if I have too much and it gets a little too globby, I'm just going to use a napkin to pick it up. I just put it like a little point, curl it, twist it up, and just pop it. If also have any bubbles. So I go ahead and heat set this part way, and then I just set it to the side to dry while we emboss our sentiment. So here I use a little post-it tape to cover the word happy. Remember, I die cut it, so I don't want happy Mother's Day. I just want Mother's Day. So I remove the post-it after I ink up my sentiment using VersaMark ink. Then I pour on some embossing powder in gold, and I'm going to heat set this. You notice heat set when it goes from a matte gold to a shiny gold. Once it's nice and shiny and smooth, I know it's done. Now I'm going to trim this down into a little strip, so all I have now is the words Mother's Day. And now we're ready to create our card. Now the gremlins ate my card, the putting together of the flowers. What I did is adhere them using on-point glue to the bottom left, my sentiment to the top, everything except for the little strip that says Mother's Day. That I use some foam tape. So today we use some Terra tape, on-point glue, VersaMark ink, irResistible textured spray in gold, and fireworks sprays in Dandelion, bamboo leaves, cottage ivy, and rosebud. If you missed anything of what I said, I will have it in the description box below. And of course our embossing powder. I hope you found some inspiration today. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can find more inspiration from our design team.